That company right there, in my eyes, that's Auschwitz on open. This is where the crime is located. This is where death is, right? What you see right there in front of my eyes, they crave to get me killed for no less than 53 years. That's what this is. Now look at this terrace here. When I look at this stuff here, this, the view they prepared for themselves. Natasha Pirc-Musar even stated for this stuff here, for tiles to be maintained. This needs to be maintained. And they told me, you need to fix the roof. You need to fix the roof because the water is leaking. There was a police here. It was Natasha Pirc-Musar. It was Boštjan Poklukar and so on. They saw the water dripping off and everything. You need to fix the roof. Yeah, I need to fix the roof without 0 fucking cents. I need to do all kinds of stuff I need to do. They told mother, you do not touch anything on the terrace. It must be like this, falling apart everything. So that we can establish a reasonable cause that you aren't willing to stay here. They already got the buyers for this home. This is, look, you see it right there. This was done by Krka Pharmaceutical. Serbs. You know what that is? That's a Serbia right there. If you buy from these people, from Krka Pharmaceutical, you're buying from the Serbs. That's what that is right there. This is a procedure through which Milan Kučan demanded, obviously for father to see, not for father to see, but for me basically to die through the pain, through the suffering, basically rotten away. It's like, kaj mu je pa koristilo, vse je bilo za manj, style in the Slovenian. What was it good to him? He lost everything and he died away and so on, you know? This is Milan Kučan. This is how he wanted to portray is. This is the way it was and this is the way it is. They were coming here to this place for 48 years, no less, to express disgust for my parents to have all this here. The truth is, I had nothing out of this, and that's a fault of my parents. And they weren't doing this for the love of my parents. They hated my parents. They hated their guts. They hated my father more than anything in this world because of making this house. He didn't have the right to have this house. He didn't have the right to build this house. He didn't have the right to build this house. My father didn't have the right to be here. He didn't have the right. Milan Kučan had a completely different plan. He was going to design a completely different plan for our family. Plan according to his own agenda. This is not for the people that are without the university degrees, is how Milan Kučan explained when father built this house. This is not allowed. It's not allowed. When this house came to existence, the only thing that happened was the Udba fall. All these houses here around, everything was Udba. That's the only thing that followed from the city. He moved here from the city to get away from this extermination procedure, selling my grandfather's house. And the only thing that happened was free land all around the house by the Udba people so they could come here. Free, literally free. The way these freeloaders negotiated was literally through me, through the violence that went on inside of the village, I explained. Village violence started under Josip Broz Tito inside of this village. Villagers being compelled to pledge oath to avenge their drug Josip Broz Tito. get me killed in a most brutal way. And it was nothing other than torture that went on inside of the village. Torture was so big that the biggest Udba people got a clearance from me to come here to this village from the city, because I deemed that the village people were too violent and I could not stay here. It was unbearable to be here as a baby, as a child in this village. So this is how they came here to this place here. Udba people all around, they gave them a free lots. Yeah, they pay their symbolic prices and so on. And you already know how is that done through the jobs, how they do it and so on. The village people hallucinated that if this case come through and I'm going to get money, so much money, that I am going to buy all this land here, everywhere you see. And I will buy everything. In reality, the guy who started to vacuum right there was the one with his son who was coming here already to see, watch, search how he's going to buy this property. Also, one of the features that was used during MK Ultra for torture purposes, and with which one guaranteed me that if I will keep those windows open inside, the sound from the vacuuming will go right inside. It will not be allowed not to sleep, but to have even the windows open. This is in respect to paranoia, because this is what they built. No windows opened, allowed to have it open at any time, was the Milan Kučan's law. How much are they gonna like this, I don't know, but the guy came to fix the stuff based on MK Ultra scenario, whom I have absolutely positively identified. He was the one who told me also, it was about how you kill a father, how you kill father, how you kill father. This was a psychiatrist, Peter Kashin, but psychiatrist Kabush got him to also say to me, involved in torture for 30 years, this man who came to fix this, to ask me at the end in 2017, he was still brazen. 2018, he was still brazen. 2016, 2017, he started to suggest me, or you're gonna kill mother, or you're gonna kill mother. And I said, what do you mean by that? Or you're gonna kill both of them. Ha 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 ha. This is the guy who came to fix this here. This is the man who prepared for him to fix this stuff was Robert Golob personally, who inspected all this stuff, yeah? This was neighbor Metod Yerman, whom Golob have used. One house away from here. Criminal, just as I explained, involved since my childhood, that determined that is going to be this man, because this is the way they tell, this is how they buy the silence. The criminals that were involved the most, first on the picture, who came to who determined, well, he will be the one who will, in a sense, he will be the one who will tell. He will be the one who will recognize. He will be the one who will recognize. This man was coming here for so many years to brain fuck with me. Had me inside of his house, tortured me inside of his house. Then he found a way to come here to do the job and purchase silence through me, basically through the work that Robert Golob, my neighbor Metod Yerman, designed for him. They taunted all the time. He could be the one. He could tell you, are you going to tell? Are you going to tell? Are you going to recognize him like this in front of me? And this is the stuff. This is what came here to do the work. This was compared to remind you of grave of my father. And if I explain further, they even counted on the grave of my mother. Yeah, just as I explained. He will be the one. He will be the one who will come and so on. Yeah, there was the guy who was even there to ask me that they have to see who I am going to bury. Is it gonna be mother or father? This was in 2016 and 2017. This guy who came to fix this. This location here that you see, this was a frequent MK Ultra location. I'll get to that. She needed to pay attention to the sound. This is a neighbor vacuuming the car. This was one of the key techniques to drive insane during MK Ultra. One of the key things to imply on cleanliness and at the same time perfect. From this terrace, Igor Jursic personally counted on location on a Paranoia. And it was, I know it was more than Paranoia. As far as Kirka Pharmaceutical, and I know it was more than Paranoia because Jursic claimed that police mounted on our roof a surveillance system used to administer Kirka Pharmaceutical movements within the facility. I know it was more than Paranoia because he insisted that on our roof there was a device, whatever, they mounted to administer in return Kirka activities from Kirka Pharmaceutical. The first Paranoia started with the chimney, the one that you see right there. That was the first Paranoia they started, that they're watching from the chimney everything here. And it didn't start in 98. This is what Milan Kuchan started already in, as soon as the house was completed. And I don't know what year was it, 80, was it 82? 1980, 82, I don't know. This is how the paranoia in respect to Big Brother is watching you started at this parcel, this place here, where my father moved from the city to get away from the UDBA. That's how it all started. Natasha Pirtz-Musar wanted to have everything cleaned up, and she wanted to have absolutely everything cleaned up. And director, Novo Mesto Police Station director Igor Jursic claimed, together with a Stefanic, with a funny man, with a Stefanic, he insisted during MK Ultra for 20 years, don't you see, together with the Zajcik, don't you see, it's only dust collecting itself, don't you see, you will see, it's only dust collecting itself, nobody will come, nobody will see, and in the end, this is going to be used as a detrimental factor to institutionalize you. We did have literally hazmat people here inside, dressed in a hazmat suits, going after the fingerprints throughout the entire house. And this is stuff that I have mentioned already, I don't know, in 2020, 2018, I don't know how many times. So that stuff would not surprise me, but it would have been really stupid for me to go after the stuff which they were so afraid about could pose a serious risk for them. Can't help myself but to recall Matej Chernila in August, who insisted for the fingerprints for what he even knew I'm going to bring to the police station to ask about whether the fingerprints can still be obtained from, it was a Ziegel and Hammer that they issued, they played with, and it was placed outside. And he insisted, no way, it's too old, and so on and so forth. However, there was some other group of people who insisted it's all kinds of stuff that's being used in a forensic that can be used as a proof to prove certain people, visits of the certain people to certain location. Vladimir Putin, in my room, he makes sure that he would go through the furniture and absolutely clean everything. He had the whole cleaner service together with Americans. He had with George Bush repeatedly and Obama repeatedly people here that would, prior to their arrivals to our house, clean, disinfect the house like crazy. Earlier I mentioned this issue that pertains to, no, actually it pertains to this video. The first one who started to sleep next to me, and it's not about sleeping next to me, but who was next to me and started to spend time next to me, to what he portrayed, demonstrated to others in 1988, was none other than Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs from Apple was the first one who started the procedure, what afterwards was continued by other Illuminati's police, to be right next to me and brainwash me even through the use of the smartphones. Of course, there were no smartphones in 1988 and so on, but he was the first one who started to play with electronic gadgets and talk to me about certain things, not in this room. This was the room that they would not get into. The first, when it started, the brainwash, this type of brainwash I'm talking about, sorry, this goes to year 1996. It does not go to 1988. It goes to 1986. Was my father is hunting room, which is this room here. Prohibited room. So they had me sleep in other locations where they would have people from around the world, including Charles and Andrew, would also go next to me and spend time and make me feel special. Literally, in this room, which was a forbidden room, this is a room with nothing other than father's trophies inside. This is a room with a father's trophies that not supposed to be entered. Yet my father, who was locking the room just like I'm locking right now the room, he always locked the room and was hiding the keys so that I could not get in. Had a reason for that. His reason was that he did not want me to identify about what goes on inside of the house. It is just as simple. And father stated, the first location where you have ability to identify, and if I would identify back then, I would have been killed through the psychiatry. The first location with your ability to identify would be a living room area. And that would be behind the bed, like this, where also was a designated location, Illuminati location, for the brainwash location. Living room area, I don't want to show you right now. I'm doing a cleaning. I'm in the middle of the cleaning. Living room area because this is where we had a TV. This is where we together gathered here, mom, father, and myself, and watched TV. It's not that I did not know about what went on. I was extremely well acquainted about what went on, but I was also, even more so, I was worried that if I will start talking about this kind of stuff, I will get killed. You don't want to talk about MK Ultra unless you have a backbone. Remember when I told you that I would not leave United States of America till I would actually, well, she positioning these knives on the table insanely. Till I would actually, this is what police wanted. Police talked to Natasha Pierce-Moser about all those knives and so on. Mother is doing, in other words, absolutely everything to turn the case in a police way. They had a whole mechanism, and that's why I did not post the videos on. And I'll post the videos on all the crimes that my mother did because I didn't want police anywhere near. But there is a Mount Everest of crimes to report. I started to actually video record beginning 2022, maybe 2021, I don't know. I would not leave United States of America for at least 11 and a half years straight. I never had planned on leaving the United States of America in the first place. But as they did progress the unemployment, forced unemployment, and completely block me of the job, I left with about $40,000 in cash. I had a car and I had like $35,000 in cash when I returned to Slovenia. And even so, with ability to escape, with American citizenship, escape Slovenia back to the USA, I could not save myself from unemployment, forced unemployment done through Barack Obama in the United States of America, who inherited genocide from George W. Bush. You don't know these people, who they really are, till they become presidents or prime ministers or European Union commissioners, let's say like Ursula von der Leyen. You don't know this scum for who they are. They come out of the shell when they get those public functions. Before that, they are laying down next to you and they talk to you, they caress you. They give you a hope. The biggest Illuminati weapon that they had, was a terror through nobody believes you. Nobody believes you. And it was even a member of the Queen group that created the song, I Don't Believe You, I Don't Believe You. And it was this song they would play me during MK Ultra before the song was even released, doing their best to convince me about that I stand no chance. American politicians all insisted on. It just stands right there. Let me just try to catch the lights. It's weird that you would stop there. Bill Clinton, George Bush, nobody more than British royals, Prince Charles, Harry William, they all signaled the issue of nobody believe you. Nobody believe you. That means United Nations, control of United Nations, control of... Oh, he is just going on a field to work. They're doing stuff over there. Everybody busy today, I see. Nobody nobody was more terrorized, nobody was more preoccupied with what's going to come out, and I really did not understood why. But British royals were totally on their toes when it comes to. Look at that, it's a Tuesday, May 27, about 20 minutes after noon. Nobody, strange, usually you would have people on Saturday and Sunday doing that kind of stuff, but I'm not saying anything. Nobody was, including my neighbor. It would be Saturday and Sunday, the vacuuming of the car. I'm not saying for my mom. I mean, mom is just cutting the grass, even that the grass is already completely cut. Actually, I should even take a note of that stuff. I should take a note of it. The grass is cut, but my mom keeps cutting the grass. There you go. Nobody was more preoccupied. Nobody was more obsessed with this issue than British royals. They were completely absorbed with the issue of nobody believes you. Nobody believes you. And nobody believes you. Novo mesto police, okay. Igor Jurčić, he was even more obsessed with nobody believes you, with the investigators, with the so-called investigators. I don't believe you, Queen. You don't fool me. 1995. Let me see that. Let me make sure that this is what it is. Let's just make sure that this is what it is. Do you know what I'm demonstrating you right now? No, this one here. You don't fool me. This one. You don't fool me. Yeah, you don't fool me. You don't fool me. Do you know what this is? This was an anthem from the Novo Mesto police station. It was designed for the police to brainwash themselves, to convince themselves that the stuff they do. This is a key song, psychologically prepared for the lie detector tests. This one here. And they did the ritual in front of me. I don't believe you. Watching me, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Their main I don't believe you was a Tanya Fayon who negotiated with United Nations, with the Commissioner, European Union Commissioner, European Court, Human Rights Court representatives, ICC Court representatives. That was I don't believe you. U.S. Justice Department of State, maybe more than anybody. That was about I don't believe you. Because they claimed, remember, the dust? But nobody will come. But nobody will come. This is I don't believe you. This is what this was. The whole crime was based on exactly as I explained in this. Kirka Pharmaceutical, neighbors, Big Brother is watching you, paranoia. This shit went on for way too long. For me to believe you. This shit went on for way too long for me to believe you. For me to actually give you even 1 millimeter of credibility. For way too long. For 53 years you enforce this stuff. 53 years. Yeah, you advertise that you have 7 kids. Yeah, advertise. Good for you. And the world is afraid. You must be invincible. The more
children that your thoughts in this world, the better you are, the more you secure, because that's what you need. That's what the world needs. The world needs you, Ursula von der Leyen.
Beginning 2000, 2001, 2001, 2002, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, 2002, 2002, 2003, 2002, they admitted that they are no fucking good on this terrace. In respect to the paranoia that they were talking about, and so on and so forth, they recognize themselves as no fucking good, as a shit brothers, right here in this terrace. They recognize, they admit it, they will admit this. They will confess about this. They confess into my face that they were up to no fucking good, together with what police pulled them on the side, Slovenian police pulled them on the side, and they started to talk to them about this stuff. And they came to the conclusion that they're up to no fucking good. It is just as simple. Meaning that Slovenian police had enough crime on them to blackmail them. They had enough to...
What, man? They looked forward to one another to catch one another in crime. It's called a partnership. That's all there is. They were looking forward to fuck one another and catch one another. That's how it works.
If you remember what I told you about Ursula von der Leyen, they were so nice, and it was the same shit with Elon Musk, with everybody, with Donald Trump, with absolutely everybody. They were so nice, so fucking nice, till they got a hold of the office or till they got a hold of the money. Once they got a hold of the money, once they got a hold of the office, this is basically where they slit your throat. So nice, so fucking nice. Like Ursula von der Leyen that even negotiated a crime, a prison sentence with her people over there in Belgium. So fucking nice. These people were so nice. They were so nice. This is not the post. They were so nice that they insisted from my 6th grade of grammar school, and here I'm talking about the British Royals, for me to commit a suicide. They were so nice. They were so nice. They were so nice. And it could be like this or it could be like that. It could be like this or it could be like that. Ursula von der Leyen, no, it could not be like this or it could be like that. It could be a silence to the grave when they determined they did enough. They gained enough advantage that they gain once they determined they gained enough advantage. The war in Ukraine guaranteed them silence for many years to come. When they determined they did enough damage, they come out more and more clear about who and what they were. Ursula von der Leyen negotiated. She negotiated the prison sentence as far as back in 2008. That sucks, 2006, 2008. Together with Angela Merkel, German government knew all about this stuff, just the way you watched in this video. That much about the Big Brother is watching you, paranoia, etc., etc. As far as 1986, just as I have written here, look, you see this? Read that post. Read about that post. This here, this is a different post. Let me see here. It's not here. Okay. Every one of them is a post that for the people interested in really how government, how everything is ran, what world is based upon, to literally lick the fingers. Because this is truly the block. One
unique blog that explained everything about how he functioned and how he functions for the last 53 years. Hey man, British Royals pushed me into a suicide together with the Milan Kuchan, beginning my 6th grade at the grammar school. And they literally figure out it was obsession with the Slovenian police to get me into a suicidal thinking. They were obsessed. Literally was an obsession. This whole thing, this whole procedure was based on compelling one into the suicide. That's why they didn't find anything in Poland when I came to the hospital to report broken spine. That's why they didn't find anything in Poland about my health when I went and report the issues. That's why I did not to the hospital about the sound, about lack of sleep and so on. That's why I did not find anything in Slovenia when I went into the hospital to report the health issues and so on. They found nothing. Everything they found is perfect. Everything is fine because the mental illness is such that the real problem, nothing really exists elsewhere than in an individual's brain, in an individual's head. And once he commits the suicide, that's where you get the proof. You make the check mark. Mentally ill. That's what King Charles was searching for. In my case, for no less than 53 years. With all the CIA directors, with all the FBI directors since 1972. 16 FBI directors. About the guy I've spoken to in part number 1. This is part number 2. Yeah, you're almost at the end of the part number 2. In part number 1 that I spoke about this guy who came to fix this and who provocated during MK Ultra to see what it's going to be. Only the father is grave. Over the course of the years he was coming, they did unearthed this stuff many times, not only once, twice. And he found himself right here provocating about this issue. Through this issue, whether it's going to be only for father or it's going to be also for mother. Grave. This guy built his father did. It's a video below. Everything he has, including his underwear, he accomplished through this case. Everything. And it wasn't about him. It was about his father, about his brother. This man with his brother, and I think he might even have 2 brothers, I'm not sure. His father was the one who finished the house where he lives inside that house. Sometimes I was like in the 3rd grade of the grammar school, something like that. 2nd grade of the grammar school I was. The year probably was 1978, something like that, yeah. I explained all the issues below the video. Everything I explained below the video. It's another video right below. You're going to go and you're going to see that one. That pertains to him, the way they even coordinated, they would get wrong information about me, as per this guy, who, and so on and so forth. He is Milan Kuchan all the way. This guy who came to fix this here, he doesn't even have underwear on him, not even socks, that he did not accomplish through Milan Kuchan, this guy. Everything he has is through the Milan Kuchan. This is what Kuchan sent here to do this stuff. Absolutely 100%. Everything. So, he is identified. There's a video below. Milan Kuchan, just as I explained in the video below, he built his entire life through this case. Everything. Milan Kuchan, his resume, everything about Milan Kuchan, his resume goes right through Novo Mesto. And he is not from Novo Mesto. He is from completely other side of Slovenia, from here somewhere. In this area here. This. In eastern part of Slovenia. This here. This. Ljubljana, from here he made it to Ljubljana. And Let's see his resume. Let me demonstrate you the resume. Milan Kuchan said it to me like this. He fucking hated to come here. He hated to come here. He wanted to choke me. He wanted to strangle me. You have no fucking idea how violent this stuff was. Watch that video about the guy I did. Regardless of how beautiful, he didn't want to come here. Milan Kuchan interpreted his visits to me as a trouble. That me ruining his life. That's how he explained his violence against the child, against the baby. This is how Milan Kuchan explained his violence. See this here? This is right next door, here. And this is not it. This was not for Josip Broz Tito here. This stuff here. This was not so important to Josip Broz Tito, this stuff here, this castle here, this kind of stuff. Josip Broz Tito was into something else. Josip Broz Tito visited this area here. This is an excellent hiking for the hiking area. That's what he was doing. He would be doing hiking with what became, I told you about, MK Ultra route for entire world here. Literally Autobahn for the Illuminatis. It's so nice, scenic, beautiful through here. This is not why Milan Kuchan was coming here. Milan Kuchan, Josip Broz Tito. Milan Kuchan was just somebody, a troubleshooter for Josip Broz Tito. A security. It's a UDBA guy who ensured the security of Josip Broz Tito. This is a place that you can enjoy the sightseeing. This is not just something. It's a very beautiful place. Josip Broz Tito was coming here very often because of this stuff here. He would commute from, it's called Toplice, Moravske Toplice, Čatež ob Savi, Moravske Toplice. This area here. This is place, Kostanjevica, Šentjernej, and so on. The people were killing one another to get Josip Broz Tito to visit them. It was a massacre between the people to host Josip Broz Tito. This was an enormous thing for these people. A lot of corruption went through here. There was Terme here, Terme here that attracted Josip Broz Tito. Those Terme did not even exist yet back then, I think. But this here, no. I don't know anything about the Terme because I'm just too poor to go to any kind of place like this to go visit. They make sure that I would not have a dime, a cent, that I could see anything around. And quite frankly, I don't want to see it. I'm not interested in it. This here is where Milan Kuchan bristled. This stuff here. Oh, fuck this, so I don't waste time with this crap. This was all the area, Terme, that you see, that Milan Kuchan loved Josip Broz Tito. This was life for him, for Josip Broz Tito. Terme Čatež, all this kind of stuff. This is what Josip Broz Tito was crazy about. Rogaška Slatina, this was the big thing of Josip Broz Tito. This is what Josip Broz Tito loved. He liked Slovenia because of this stuff here. And when I say Rogaška Slatina, Josip Broz Tito was from here. It's called a Kumrovec. Josip Broz Tito half was Slovenian and half was a Croat, something like that. So many reasons why Josip Broz Tito was involved me in this case. What he was so much convenient for him to visit him back and forth. Kumrovec, Josip Broz Tito is from Kumrovec. This man here, Josip Broz Tito, Kumrovec, not too far from where I am. If considering Yugoslavia, this is not too far from where I am. See it? This is his birth town this year in Croatia. Yeah? This is what this is. Kumrovec. You go here, take this one. I do this one. This is 60 kilometers from here. 60 kilometers. He only had 60 kilometers. If he wanted to visit his own birthplace, he had about 60 kilometers. In 15 hours, if you go walking, you actually can make it. That's 66. In one day, you can make it through easily. 67 kilometers from Kumrovec to here. This is practically in this, when it comes to Yugoslavia, this here, and he was in Belgrade stationed. He was stationed here. Yugoslavia was all this. This man was practically a neighbor here on the scale. So, these people talking, my mom was talking to me, "Who Milan Kuchan here? Why Milan Kuchan? How Milan Kuchan? How the fuck not? How the fuck not? Who other than Milan Kuchan? Who other would, if not Milan Kuchan? Who other would, if not Josip Broz Tito? Who? How not? How not? I'm going to ask you, how not? Milan Kuchan, look, that's his resume. And what's interesting is you only get to see one picture of him and Josip Broz Tito on the internet. There's, I think, one picture altogether. I don't give a crap about what he is, well, how he and so on. But for me, the most important is to demonstrate this stuff here. This man fucking hated me. He wanted to fucking choke me as a baby. Before I became a child, this one wanted to kill me. He was hired to be a troubleshooter of Josip Broz Tito. And what exactly that meant? That meant that Josip Broz Tito was extremely violent with me. And it was people who watched and saw Josip Broz Tito engaging in crime against me. And they didn't like it. Some people didn't like it. The guy who came to fix that hall over there behind the house, he loved it. With his father, one of the most violent people involved in it. This was a violent tux up there in this Smolenski Hrib, Smolenia Gora, whatever that is. Violence. But they make all the fucking money, I tell you. Came out of nothing. Total poverty. But through this case, these were the believers of this case. The believer of this case was a cash for violence. Cash for violence. This was a troubleshooter. Whenever they sensed, inspect with police, a trouble for Josip Broz Tito, that's when this guy would come and liquidate people, kill people, steer people away. Either bribe them or execute them, make them disappear. This man here, that's a Milan Kuchan. He wanted to fucking choke me as a baby. Says here that he became a member of the communists in 1968 to 1969. And he remained in this position until 1973. A president of the Socialist Youth in Slovenia. So this one was specialized in a Slovenian youth, in a socialist, in a so-called socialist Slovenian youth. He grew here, Greater Serbian Chetnik state. He had nothing to do with any kind of socialism. He wanted the Belgrade here. He remained in this position in 1973 when he became a secretary of the communists in Slovenia in 1973. Through my case, his life rapidly grew. 78, president of the Socialist Republic of Slovenia. In 78, Milan Kučan eventually stated me that it paid him off to keep coming to this place. But he didn't do this until he actually slovenski predstavnik v predsedstvu Centralnega komiteja Zveze komunistov Jugoslavije. Yeah, this is interesting because this shit paid him enormously. In 78, he became a president of the socialist of the Slovenia, basically. He became a president of the UDBA in Slovenia. And this is whom Slovenes have selected upon the Slovenian independence as the first Slovenian president. This shit so pathetic, so shitty. And he talks mountains about Janez Janša. He talks mountains about Lojze Peterle. He talks mountains about Baučar, about all these so-called Slovenian independence people. It tells absolutely everything about who they selected to be and played as an opposition to be a first president of Slovenia. Instead of facing criminal with crimes against humanity he committed under Josip Broz Tito beginning throughout entire Yugoslavia, they appointed him as a president of Slovenia, which is fucking hilarious. In 82, he went to the Belgrade. He became a representative, Slovenian representative of the Slovenian of the Central Committee of the Communists in Yugoslavia, of the entire Yugoslavia. Actually, Slovenian representative of the Central Committee of the Communists of the Yugoslavia. 86, December 89, he was a president of the Central Committee of the Communists in Slovenia. Communist, my ass. Chetnik. Serbia. Velika Serbia. This ethnic cleansing Slovenia. This is what this shit is. Here, in 78, he did not have objected so much anymore coming here. He still wanted to kill me. He still wanted to choke me. This guy fucking hated my guts. He is from Križevci. That's in other side of Slovenia. What was the problem? This guy, I think he was already in Ljubljana for some time, but he would still commute himself back home to this Križevci. He still would go to the Križevci. He would still commute himself on the weekends. Just like my mom and father did commute to Bela Krajina, to her family. He traveled from Ljubljana to Križevci, to Prekmurje. And instead of that, he had to come to Novo Mesto. What the fuck is this here, eh? Križevci. What kind of crap is this? His wife absolutely hated me. She absolutely hated me. His wife, his family absolutely fucking hated me. Look, you see it? There you go. Radenci. Radenci, Josip Broz Tito, Radenci. Radenci, Rogashka Slatina. He is from here, from this area here, which is from Maribor. So yeah, was Josip Broz Tito. Was it like this, like I told you? It's an account up to last millimeter. And his youth that grew up carried on this. They carried on this genocide. They wanted to terminate this in a most brutal way possible for nobody to know actually about what went on. So yes, it is like this. This is precisely the way it was. There's your Kirka Pharmaceutical right here in Novo Mesto. My father had a lot to do with it. Was a lot deserved for this stuff here. Much more than what you would want to give the credit for. All this here that you see here, everything here is a facility for the wastewater, all this here. Much of this stuff did not even exist. The best way to pay, that's how they pay. Basically, they slit throat to people. This is the way they pay. That's your pay. That's the pay you get in the end of it. That's how you get. The way they mistreated my father in a way like this, with such a disrespect, and were using him to cause harm to me. Basically, turning father against son and son against father for a bloodbath, family bloodbath. That's the way Novo Mesto police, actually, this General Hospital Novo Mesto with Novo Mesto police station, this is the way they do it. That's the way they thought they're going to do it. It's just going to go like this. It's not happening. Thanks for watching this video. I know you love this. Till next time. You get kicked next time some more. Enjoy. With this man, actually, I have to be really careful with, because he had a property in Smolinia Vas, Smolinia Gora. Talking about his father, and this is an old man. His father had, I think, a sister in a Smolinia Vas. They had a farm and so on, and they would take me from their property from Smolinia Gora area to this Smolinia Vas on this which is very close. Farm, whatever, house, farmer house. It's like a farming house with a lot of children inside and bigger family. And his father might have even have one sister that moved to the Smolinia Vas. And I don't know, was it one son or two sons? Did he have one brother or even maybe two brothers? I do not know. This is the way it was. Who the fuck was involved? I told you, entire region here was involved. This is practically neighbors here from Krka, from where father purchased the house. And so, yeah, difficult to even know who built what year, because this is how much stuff was done through. There was so much construction that went on that I'm actually having second doubts about what I even stated in respect to his house, because this is also the thing that he delivered me like in a 6th grade of the grammar school, that he started to build the house, and he completed sometime that in the 7th, 6th grade of the grammar school. And that was completely different year, if that's the case, like in 1985, you know, that he prided himself, that he was like the last one that he built the house for himself, would be this guy actually. Then that would be 1985. Difficult to know which version it is. But I think it's actually 1985. And I think that in 1980 and 1970, in 1978, his father finished maybe the house or something like that. Very difficult to know. Like I said, he was not the only one. It was also others. And so very, very, very difficult to know. But I would actually go with his house because it doesn't matter because it was so many houses. I would actually go with his house, with his personal house that he completed. I would say that he completed one in 1985. If you ask me, 1985, even 1984, 1985, 1986, 1985, golden one would be 1985, based on the brainwash that he completed his house. But was it? Or was it another one? I don't know. So much crime involved in this stuff that, and like I said, in video below I explained, they would go and they would build these houses. The whole area was labeled as inbreed. They labeled the whole area. When Americans came here, they labeled them like a hillbillies that inbreed with one another. It was family next to family. So whoever was building the house, it would be the whole village that would go to provide assistance for him. Yeah, but all of a sudden, the entire village that would come and assist one with the construction. And then when the other one would start to build the house, they would only be buying material. As for everything else, it would be entire village that would come and help through the solidarity for the house to be quickly built, for those bricks to be thrown quickly, and house cemented with those plates, base, and so on. This is how they used to build. So it's very difficult. This was part of my life. They tortured at these construction sites. That's what they got paid for, to do stuff. With literally police watching the stuff the way they did stuff with me and so on. This was Josip Broz Tito. This is the way it is. I say this guy, 1985, yeah, 1985, basically. 7th grade, let's say, of the grammar school. 1985 that he completed his house. He was the last one in the family who built the house also for himself. But it was, I think the sister went to the village, but it was a brother whom they helped with his father to build the house before that. And in 1985, he built the house for himself. So it's not such an easy thing to identify people just like this and back and forth and this and that.